I actually lied. I have one more for you. As an American, I must ask. The Go-Go USA, when Landon Donovan scored his famous World Cup goal. I'm sure you're asked about this all the time, but did you have an idea for that going into that critical game for the U.S. men's national team? And it was 2010, I believe.
Yep.
Did you have an idea for what you wanted to say if one thing led to another, or is it all spur of the moment?
All spur of the moment in that particular instance, because you can't choreograph it or make it up and try to have some kind of script going on. It happens as it happens. So my view is of commentating. Some people have a different way of doing it. I'm not saying mine's the right way, but I think you should let the game tell you the story rather than going in with a stack full of notes about what you think's going to happen. You can end up commentating on the game you thought was going to happen rather than the one that's actually going on in front of you. So no, that was just a gift for any commentator, really. So USA are going out of the World Cup. They're going to finish bottom of the group. There's 93 minutes gone. Terrible game against Algeria. Surely going to be a 0-0 draw. And then the USA turn it all around in one crazy minute with that Landon Donovan goal. So you have an excuse there to go to 10 on the Richter scale if you're the commentator, because suddenly, and I'm told, the whole country went wild with that as well, which is quite rare, isn't it? For soccer, as you call it in the United States, to grab everybody in the way that it did then. So I think that was a bit of a light bulb moment for the development of the game in the USA. I think a lot of people who didn't really get it or weren't moved by soccer kind of at that moment thought, wow, there are no goals. And then this happens and we're through. We're top of the group. We're ahead of England. Landon Donovan is hero number one in the country. He's got all the chat shows. So it was, it was a great privilege to be calling that. And I don't know I didn't even know what I'd said, if I'm honest with you. I've only found out later and heard it back what I came out with, and how that Go USA line or why it even came out, I can't begin to tell you, but it felt right at the time.
I think you're right that there was a difference from 2006 was the first World Cup where I watched every single match. And I told, I was lucky enough to talk to Clint Dempsey a couple weeks ago, and I said when he smashed in that volley against Ghana, that was sort of an awakening moment for me as a football fan, where I realized Americans could smash in volleys at the World Cup. But I think you're right that is not as formative because it was just too early for a lot of people. But 2010, they seemed to log on and plug in a new way.
Yeah. I think it was starting to get the impression, and without plugging the channel I work for, ESPN treated that World Cup and invested a lot of money in covering every game and all the stories. And I think we got a good team together there. And, the American viewers, I think, responded to that. It was on morning, noon, and night. You could watch it. You could lock into all the storylines. And, it was good. And I liked 2014 as well, when Jurgen Klinsmann was in charge of the team and they weren't given much a chance in a very, very tough group, but got into the knockout rounds again there.